So, this is what will happen today. I won't read it all, but we will start with our Stano, who is a CTO and overall a nice human being. So please welcome him with an applause. Leave your stuff and clap. Now, thank you.
It doesn't work anyways. Thank you very much for a warm welcome. I'm so glad to be here. So I gave up on the clicker since like technology, you know. So please. Perfect. So let's go to the first slide. Okay, maybe just a short introduction of me. I'm Stano. I'm working for kiwi.com for almost 10 years. I think it will be 10 years in a month. I'm coming from. Perfect.
Katka is presenting now.
Perfect.
Back
Thanks.
to the small one.
So I'm coming from like engineering background. I've been a developer for a couple of years. Then I took over platform engineering and DevOps, basically trying to make sure that our application works efficiently, smoothly, and nothing is like breaking down. Then I was promoted to VP of engineering and ultimately to CTO. And just today I want to share like what a great era to be alive, right? And I think like this like quotes can show it like very nicely. It's from Sundar Pichai, from CEO of Alphabet or Google, basically, who said that couple days ago that it's amazing era for coders to actually encourage this era of our lives. So, and for me, it's every day like a new surprise. What is happening within the AI? And what is happening within the industry in terms of startups and how this like going forward? Because for me it's a feeling like when I got my first computer and like slowly tried PHP somewhere back in 2005, maybe 2007, and really I can have the same feeling every other day right now because there is new model, new LLM, new startup, and the AI is changing literally. I think. Literally changing like how we are thinking about the work, how we are working, and it goes through all of the eras of our life. And I really think it's an amazing opportunity for everyone to just jump on the wave and serve it properly. And I know that from like 2010 to 2020, we had like a lot of, let's say, revolutions within the tech. So with inception of the mobile and in terms of like applications and people are moving from the desk to mobile, it was cloud computing and it was many other aspects. But at the end of the day, this is way bigger, and I'm so glad that I can be here and actually drive this challenge, and I'm enjoying that a lot. So before I go to a couple of slides I have ready, I just wanted to introduce a bit more kiwi.com. What we are and who we are and what we are doing, right? And kiwi.com is a global app that makes air travel simple. And this is like, from my perspective, it's very simple thought or very simple, let's say, sentence, but it brings an amazing value for everyone who travels. And everyone knows like how travel in the air industry is difficult because airlines are competing with the airports are competing to the airlines. There are many players, there are different ways of like providing information, different players within the GDS, global distribution systems and so on. And just creating simple app which can make it for everyone accessible is our vision, and that's what are we doing here. And this was created as a simple idea of our founder, Oliver. And he was basically looking for a flight. It took him like 2 days when he tried to fly from Prague to Porto. And eventually, after 2 days, he found out that it would be way cheaper to go from Prague to Milan and Milan to Porto than go directly. And this is our base or our roots. It is something what we call virtual interlining. So we connect the airlines which are not collaborating to each other. And we make it accessible for everyone and create a booking for you. And how we are doing that? We try to solve customer anxieties. And this is something what we have documented so far. I'm not sure if it's visible or not, since, the contrast of the slides is probably not the best, so I will read that. So am I getting the best deal? So this is the first point, and this is the anxiety what a lot of customers are solving. So should I go with that airline or another airline? Should I go to Skyscanner, Kiwi, or eDreams? Should I fly directly, or should I take stopover? What makes sense for me? And this is something what we try to really solve with great application, having all of the itineraries in one place and all of the content within one application. The second anxiety is, do I have all the necessary documents and information? So do I actually know what is happening? Do I know that I need to do check-in? Should I do check-in? Is it somebody going to do that for me? And this is what we are solving with our product, which is called Kiwi.com Guarantee. So we provide you also like free check-in, free online check-in, that you don't need to basically care about anything, just to go to the airport, and that's it. And for experienced travelers, there is also third point, and everyone who travels a bit can know that it might be stressful and difficult to stuck at the airport and have delayed or cancelled flight, especially if you have the connection. Therefore, the third anxiety is like, what if the flight is delayed or cancelled? And we also have you covered within this, and we will be talking a bit more about that. It's about our support and way, like how we are providing and guaranteeing you that you will reach your final destination at the end. Perfect. So maybe just to connect those two topics and like how I'm thinking that AI would go and transform or is already transforming our product. So first, I think it's really great that we have created the application with all of the possible content, with all of the possibilities to filter the content, and really to get your keen itinerary you need to, right? But the preferences might change for people, right? So for me, when I was younger and when I didn't have any kid, I was basically going after price. So I just wanted to be somewhere like in a very cheap manner, right? I didn't care that much about the stopovers, about maybe like overnight stays and so on. So that was fine for me. But right now, when I have kids, I'm looking for the flight which is departing between 10 and 12, which do not have like many layovers, with some specific airline and so on. And for that, we created a lot of like filters. And for many customers, it was quite difficult to like use all of the filters what we had, and really trying to set up the best way, best itinerary, what they can get. But right now with the AI and with the natural language processing, it's getting easier and easier. So right now we are piloting like really natural language filtering, so people can basically add what they are thinking about, what they would like to do. So for example, flights without basically direct flights, departing from Vienna, let's say, between 10 and 12, and automatically set up the filtering. And I mean, this might look like a small thing from the technical perspective, because okay, LLM can do that fairly easily. But at the end, this brings a lot of like great experience for the people who just were searching their flights for many and many hours. All right, and second example about like how AI is transforming also our product. Just imagine that you have like your travel assistant always by your hand, and you can get instant and proactive help. You can get your companion for whatever needs you have, and actually you have the companion who is proactively solving the issues. And basically, if something happens, there is like it's a huge anxiety for people, and it's also very uncomfortable for people just to call somewhere and wait in the queues and so on and so forth. And right now, using AI, we are capable to give you resolution within 2 minutes in any language, 24/7. And what is most important on top of that is that this is solving like 70% of the users' issues currently. And this is after, let's say, 15 months of development that we are able to using the new technology to solve huge problem within the industry. And if you think about like for example, scalability, right? So when the seasonality starts, there is a huge amount of requests. And usually companies are not able to scale up that fast the agents which should be responding to the travelers. But within AI, we are capable to scale like almost infinitely. Just not to steal Dalibor's thunder, Dalibor will go and do the zoom in for this project, and there will be like much more into that. All right, and shortly, what does it mean for engineering? And I just want to share like two, let's say, streams of like how I am thinking about that, and what I can see that what would be happening within the industry. So first, this I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure it's not readable, but this is like MVC paradigm, so model view controller, right? I'm pretty sure that everyone is kind of aware of that. And just to quickly describe, model responsible for saving data, responsible for transforming the data, basically permanent storage about the state. View, let's say it's an interface, it's something what customer can see or customer of the application can see and interact with that. And there is a controller somewhere in the middle trying to implement business logic on top of data and customer interactions. And most of the time, in many companies, including ours, people and developers spend time here to build and groom the business logic. So what basically business wanted to build and how this should be functioning and how this should be working for customers. And imagine if the controller layer could be fully written within prompt. And this is something where we are going or heading, for example, with project, with our customer support servicing project. So this is all about that you will have data stored somewhere in the databases, somewhere in the permanent storage, and most of the people will be taking care about like how to prompt the business logic well, and how to adjust, test, and mark the specific data and specific interactions that it could basically bring better product, new products, and so on. And this is a huge paradigm in terms of paradigm shift in terms of like how much time in percentage we as a developers or as an engineers spend within writing a code. So I really think this will be big, and this is something what is already working for us, and we will zoom in on that in the next presentation. And as a last point, obviously, and in terms of like personal productivity and efficiency, there is like a lot of tools right now which are trying to like really solve, helping in writing the code and understanding the code and so on and so forth. And right now we can see basically like two shifts or two streams. And first is Helper AI. Helper AI, and you can imagine that as your twin programmer who is basically writing code with you, and you are always having your help and support by hand, right? So either it's about you write the code, it writes the test, or vice versa, or it challenges it, or it looking for the edge cases and so on. And I think this was nicely adopted in Kiwi already, and this is what we are working on basically every day within huge population of Kiwi.com engineering. But what is in the future? It's operator AI, and this is quite big, and this is quite changing the paradigm again. Codex was released and Junes was released probably like a month ago, and basically it gives you or gives every engineer the power of the AI team. So you can have your AI team of specialists, agents, which are working together towards the same goal, right? So you can have your AI agent for QA, you can have your AI agent for business analytics, you can have your AI agent for, SQL and database expert, and you are capable to control that and just orchestrate it. So intentionally you are giving, or people will have power of like hundreds and hundreds of agents capable of doing the work for them. And I think this is going to boost the efficiency and improve the products even more. And this really delivers, like, in my view, 100 more impact, and is giving the power of doing this impact for engineering and for product people. And I think it's great because you don't need to wait for 20 different roles, 20 different departments across the company, but you can deliver something end to end within fraction of the time with pretty good quality. And I'm looking forward for that a lot. Cool. So that would be from me. Thank you very much for your attention. Please, definitely let's have a chat during the social event. I'm looking forward for your questions and the topics we can discuss. Thanks.
Thank you, Stano. You are good at clapping. Thank you. You are a nice audience. We have a lot of questions for you, actually more than we can answer. So you will have to use that. Yeah, that.
Perfect.
So, the most voted up is, how did it perform? Oh wait. How did it perform during CrowdStrike Black Friday due to all issues generated that weekend due to lack of information from airports and airlines? Is it all? This is all.
Let me read that once again. Okay, probably we are talking about the servicing. Okay,
Yeah.
back then we hadn't like this big, let's say, coverage. I think we were at 30-ish%, but it was performing pretty well. It could scale and so on and so forth. So the point is, if you have your business logic within simple prompt, it looks like plain English, right? And you can amend it and adjust it very fast. So we were able to put their specific scenario for the cases affected by the CrowdStrike issue. It was last summer, if I recall correctly, right? And it was working just nicely, right? Because we were able to discuss and provide the possibilities what we had. And as we had more of the information either from the partners of the airline, we were just slowly but steadily adjusting the prompt and communication. So yes, it helped a lot already.
I hope your question was answered, Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous. If not, please find Stano later. Next one. What security measures are in place with your AI integrations?
Okay, we have some third-party, basically, let's say, basic protection from cloud provider, mainly solving prompt injections and this kind of like basic techniques. But what is more important is like guardrails to the prompts, right? So we really have a couple of patterns we try to like follow within the AI agents, and the point is that we really try to not give them big enough space to hallucinate or doing something what is dangerous. So let me give you an example. So for example, there can be customer asking for a refund of 20,000 euro even though they paid 1,000 euro, right? So we need to have like inherently this fixed within the code base and within the guardrails of AI agents. So that's our main spot. And there are a couple of like more tools within that. We are running periodical penetration testing on top of it and so on.
The next one is tricky because I need you to answer super quickly. Can you do it?
Let me try. Which one?
How does Kiwi make money?
Easily. Now, Kiwi.com makes money on like couple of the items. First is obviously there might be some service fee. So we are providing service, right? So when you book at us, we go and book it at the suppliers, and for that service there is a fee. On top of it, we are providing our own services, for example, guarantee and the others which are paid. So it's a markup-driven business, let's say.
Okay, thank you, Stano.
Thank you.
Sorry. Okay. Thank you for all your questions. If yours wasn't answered and there was like 5 of them not answered, please find Stano later. He will be here all evening, night. Yes, he promises. So the next speaker is Katie, my dear friend, good shopper at Zara, Christmas ambassador. All the things you didn't know about her, and she will talk about data. What, like?
Hello, good evening. Thank you for your welcoming, clapping. Yeah, I'm good shopper at Zara, and I love Christmas. I can confirm that, I promise. But first of all, I'm there to talk about data and what does it mean when we talk about data to impact. So first of all, let me introduce myself. More formally, I'm Kateřina Ščavnická as an engineering lead in Kiwi.com. right now for almost 5 years, but I go with Katie. And I'll be honest with you, I am happy to be here and talk about our data and their impact on our company, because I have the opportunity to talk about like two topics that I love to talk about, like data and people, you know. So yeah, data to impact is some kind of saying or maybe mantra for us in Kiwi.com, because this is something that we seriously live by in Kiwi. Every event, every button, every price, every booking funnel, it's driven by the data. And there are like a lot of discussions behind that, a lot of analysis and a lot of effort. So when I joined Kiwi 5 years ago, ever since we put our travelers first. That was our priority number one. We wanted to make it easy for them, but we also value our customers as well. So we needed to understand them, right? But we also believed that we would use the AI, you know, just plug in the AI, and we will uncover some insights beyond the human perception, you know. So basically we won't be able to perfectly understand them just like that. But it wasn't that easy, right? When I first of all, when I saw this huge table with almost 138 billion rows, I was like happy, you know, because I love like problems and I like solving problems, and like I am like very detailistic person, so I was happy about that. But it was like there was also a dark side. There was 900 terabytes of the memory, and could you imagine like what does it mean for us? Because we have a BigQuery, like as an official database, and according to the official billing of BigQuery, Google bills $20 per 1 terabyte per 1 month for storing the like data. So when we do the easy math, we ended up with $18,000 per month. And could you imagine like that amount of money? Like, do you know what does it mean? Like, for me, like a very productive night at Zara, but at the same time we can pay for 4 engineers, you know, for 1 month, at least in Czech Republic. So we believed that more data means more answers for us, and I was like quite happy about that. And I believe that when we plug in the AI, the magic happens, you know, and we will like perfectly understand our customers. But that was just a dream, and it wasn't true. Because to answer very simple business questions or very simple like understanding of our customers, we ended up with more than 250 custom queries, visualized with almost more than 100 dashboards. And we ended up with a team of 11 analysts constantly keeping alive and resuscitating those queries or your colleagues, because like it was completely unbearable situation. Trust me, I was one of them. But I was a very positive person, so I tried to use the AI, you know, to understand better our customers. So I've asked ChatGPT to do the analysis for me, you know, just very simple analysis, booking conversion rate, basically calculate how many, what is the percentage of customers in the specific subset on the specific market, how many converts basically and do the booking. But this is what I received from the ChatGPT. Don't read it, basically. He wasn't able to do the analysis, to like the TLDR. He used the wrong event, constantly, completely unrelated. And I reached some kind of like mysterious limit, you know? And we were lost, to be fair. So we realized, and there was a lesson, learned the hard way, let's say, that AI power depends on one thing. And that was the customer behavior data needs to be trusted first to be able to understand our customers. Well, so now was the time to start or stop resuscitating and start engineering. So we have kicked off our beloved initiative, Trusted Data, and for us it was a deal breaker, I would say. I hope that Stano will confirm that as well. First of all, what did it mean for us? We needed to stop using data without owner like immediately. Like there was no question about it. In Kiwi.com, we respect the data mesh perspective. It means that the data producers are also owners of the data. So this is how it looks like. At the very beginning, we have domain and systems and services that produce data. For example, search, And those systems and services produce data and publish data directly to BigQuery, our expensive BigQuery. And so-called domain data set is created. And the next step is not mandatory, but it's very strongly recommended. And that's the creation of some kind of aggregated data layer. So the data model, so-called data model, is a data product that combines multiple domain data sets, into one single source of truth to be able to provide business stakeholders basically answers, not questions, answers to their business questions. Could be simple question, but also like very complex and complicated questions. And that's what the data model is built for. And as you can see, like on top of those data models, there are many output ports, Data scientists use it for training their ML models. Data analysts are writing their custom analysis and queries on top of that. And last but not least, the whole reporting and A/B testing experimentation is based on top of the data. So as you can see, data has an influence across the whole company, so we couldn't afford to use anything without an ownership. And the next part was that I didn't like it because I love a lot of problems, but not all the data should be considered as a data product. What does it mean? Like when I'm talking about data product, what does it mean? So we realized that we should use only like few data sets, data products that are well governed, and that should be considered as a data product. And on top of that, we should do the business decisions, not on top of some like ungoverned data. So how does it look? Ownership, this is something that I taught before. The second one is documentation. Of course, we needed to start using documented data because otherwise we risk like the misusage and maybe like the wrong conclusion and like business impact. The third is quality. Right now, I'm not talking about data freshness or completeness or like data quality per se, but also from the business perspective. It means the data needs to make sense. For example, sales can't be negative, right? It needs to be at least positive, because otherwise it would mean that we pay our customers, which doesn't make sense. The fourth part is architecture. The data needs to make sense also from the business perspective, but from the technical perspective as well. Data contract, that was a huge topic in Kiwi.com. Basically, it's a contract, serious contract between two sides. Basically, the first one is the data producers, and the second part is data consumers. And this contract defines what should we do in case something goes wrong, what are the SLAs, where it should be announced, what is the process basically if something goes bananas. And last but not least is security. Our data needs to be secured and it can't put into danger like Kiwi.com. And now it's time to use AI because we have governed data, owned data, documented data, so we can like use the new shiny toys, ChatGPT and others. So what we achieved? We have managed to onboard semantic validation. What does it mean? Basically, LLM models are checking data or attributes across multiple modules if there is like any similar meaning, with different names. And with that, we are preventing that we have like duplicates between the data and there could be like some kind of misunderstanding or misusage of that. The second point is the data interpretation, of course. Like once we have properly owned data, documented data, basically anybody could like ask LLM, to interpret the data. What does it mean if the revenue like drops? What does it mean if there is like a peak and other? And last but not least is our new initiative, Talk to Your Data. And when I'm talking about talk to your data, I'm literally talking to data. So when I asked Steven, our internal chatbot, Slack bot, the very same question, about the booking conversion rate of our customers, I have received in Slack, answer within a few seconds, And at the same time, basically the Slack bot explained to us, what is the source of the table to be sure that the data are reliable. So to sum it up, my lessons learned, during those 5 years in Kiwi. Massive data becomes massive opportunities, but only when it's treated as a product and asset. And AI is not just shiny tool for us. This is something how we are putting our travelers first. But the real impact starts when we started to have the governed data and bold thinking. Because if we would be afraid, we will be still resuscitating those 11 analysts, resuscitating those dashboards. So we are a huge fans of AI and data governance. So please, if you have any questions, I'm here. Then I'm going to Zara. And yeah, shoot any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Can you click on it because I don't have arms? There, yeah. These two first questions we will leave at the end, but can you compare time needed for answer before and after AI in Talk to Your Data?
Yeah, definitely. You mean time to answer? If yes?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, when we had the original question, about customer behavior data, it was in a matter of days, because we needed to see what does it mean, the question, where we should find the data, how we should clean the data, and then produce some kind of reliable answer. So before the trusted data, it took us days, number of days, unit of days. Right now we are talking about minutes.
Significant. That's the only thing I can
Thank
say
you.
about it. Okay, thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
And now, on the stage, please welcome Dalibor. I don't have any fun facts about him, so you have to ask him later, because, sorry. But he will talk more about AI, which is everyone's favorite topic these days, so I hope you will like it too. Thank you. Yes, perfect audience.
Thank you, Katka. I didn't blackmail you not to have any fun topics about me, so I'll just try to mention some of my own. I used to shop at Zara in my corporate times. Now I don't have to. I've got free stuff from Kiwi, so that's one of the easy things. It's also, it's really me, even though it doesn't look like it, but a few years younger. I keep it that way, even on LinkedIn. All right, so guys, I think we are here to talk about AI, data, and I thank to Stano and to Katie for all the foundation they put together, so it's gonna be an easy job for me. So how we use now all the great data that we have and the mindset that we have, which is friendly to AI, is to help the customers. And at customer support, when I joined 3 years ago, we had lots of tools, lots of applications, and the way we scaled was to bring more human agents in and build even more applications, hire more people, which I love doing, but that wasn't the point. The point was to make the customers really happy. And now, with all the disruptions that happen in the world, we were posing the big question: how do we make it efficiently and safely? So how do we actually convey the right information? And the answer was, since 2 years ago, to try and play with AI. Initially, when it came about, what we said and did very quickly was to put a chatbot in and put a knowledge base behind the chatbot. And it was meant to be brilliant. And it was rubbish. It was a disaster. It was not really telling anything it should have done properly. It was just making things up. And I think as many of the companies, we just fell on that hurdle, and we learned from it. So we quickly realized there is no way AI was just going to was just going to grab a lot of documents and be right first time. So we had to roll back everything and start from scratch and rely on human agents also to help us in that process. So we got together with them and started entirely new. We started with an agentic approach which was able to pass the information between agents in a more controlled way. So of course there will be a time in a couple of years when the models are even more advanced and they will be able to absorb a lot of information. But what we wanted to do really was to make it safe. So we don't really tell customer the porkies some information that is not going to help them. The way how we did it was using agents in the middle and basically allowed the virtual agents, which was our agentic AI, to pass on the work to the back office agents if they needed to do something specific. So there was a good handshake between our AI and also human agents, and that's really what worked out to build the incremental win for the customers. Here you can see that when a chat is opened, now you can use it on the app. Virtual agents assess quickly what the request is. If it knows what to do, it just goes and answers. If it doesn't, it passes back the task to the human agents and then responds back with the confirmation. So definitely the way how to approach it is using this communication between AI and human agents, but if AI knows, let's use it to the fullest. So that started with that approach. Now we have built up and scaled. And this is a little bit tricky slide. We'll probably spend another half an hour. No, I'm just joking. We can talk about how we do it post the session, but we basically use a flow and workflow that is able to invoke, and you will see a bit better here, the models for specific tasks. So it's not just one big blob being put on the model to answer right. It's really step-by-step, very well-curated flow of the processes with the use of the knowledge of our product managers, with our process experts, and have AI to work out the best next step based on all the input we provided, but not at a large scale, rather in sequential way, step by step when the customers want more. So what did we learn from this? And there'll be more, it's not the end yet, it's the first learning. So proactive communication is the key. If we can avoid customer even reaching out and let them know something is happening, like a disruption or situation with their flight, it's 100 times better than to try to react. So that way we can really save on a lot of communication, customer feels safer, and we don't have to recover from bad situations. What I want to emphasize as the big next learning is the use of Gen AI and professionals. It's not that easy to just ask engineers to process a lot of data, to pass it on to AI and expect the miracles. It really needs to be a fast learning process where we go in iterations, learn from the mistakes and fix the system and improve it. And obviously, that's what we are able to do with multiple separate iterations step by step. So remember intro slide? There is a bit of an example of how AI helps us and what mindset we took. So not really use AI as a miraculous tool, but try to play with it and really tweak it along the way. I could have saved a lot of time here. So what I could have done was to write down the prompt and ask AI to generate that picture for me instead of putting it from approved icons for presentations. And that's how it could have looked like. It's totally different, but it's first attempt in 20 seconds. So that's the power of doing prototypes. You can actually very quickly get something from AI that you can almost use, but if you are not happy, you can tweak it a little bit. So this is also generated prompt from the first prompt I did with some small changes. I put some manual lines asking for specific things like icons and maybe some other stuff, but it's about 20% of this slide. The rest was generated. So I just asked AI to tell me more how the picture could look like if it used its own power. So what came out of this was that. And that's actually much closer to my original image. And it's much more presentable. Well, it's subjective, but you can compare yourself. And this took me 1 minute. That took me 10 to put it together. And I think that's the mindset we tried to kind of invoke in the engineering teams, to be more experimental, to try to use AI for things that make sense, for quick prototyping, not to go and write the whole code, even though agentic future is probably going to go there at some point. But we are not there. We need to take it step by step and learn from it, and that way become a little bit more advanced step by step. So I talked about customers, and I meant obviously external customers. And we also, however, have internal customers that are our human agents. And they do a lot of work that is very manual, very repetitive. And that doesn't make them very happy. So how do we make them really happy? All of them. And we take pictures of them every day. No, not really, but it would be great. So previously we looked at how back office agents worked. And yeah, they work very hard. There is no doubt about that. But can they work smarter? So we learned that they have really lengthy training procedures. Very detailed knowledge about the applications needs to be absorbed. There's a lot of apps that they have to learn about. They switch context frequently because in the legacy world, there is a lot of apps they have to go through and really pass data from one to another that can be automated. And they have to learn about broad variety of topics. So, for example, disruptions or refunds or check-ins, that's all specific big flows of information they need to absorb. So we just tried to imagine if agents' only focus was the customer and not the processes. How much better would it make their life and how much better would be customer served? So what if the guidance was based on the context? Not that they had to learn all the long PDF documents about what they need to do in certain situations. What if they could just use simple UI, not many apps? What if the data, thanks Katie, was contextual? Because that's what we are trying to do, data being relevant. And this is what we came up with eventually. This is a generated picture. I'll not claim this is something that we built. I'll show you on the next slide what we built. But that gives a great example of what that single interface for the agents, for the internal app can look like. It's a chat-based interface which really guides the agents step by step based on the context of the situation they are in. And they don't really need to learn really pages and pages of UI just to get through that and understand what each field represents. So there is a conversation with the agents and the AI that also is able to put in the relevant UI elements just to help the agent to overcome any situation they need to be quick with. So they can press the button, they can enter the text, they can decide using the AI elements that are dynamically generated. So that's a big benefit for the agent and makes them much faster and much more focused on resolving the situation rather than having to control the app. And of course, that means that they can be untrained. So instead of training the agents for very long periods of time, they can really just then start using this. That's our interface. So this is a first iteration. This is a draft, but I wanted to show you the reality. So we go through a bit of a guidance here for the agents, and then when the agent is taken to the portal, where they can actually check some information for the customer, there is additional information provided by AI, and also agent is offered to either confirm that they were able to log in and check the information or not. And then additional info is then presented to them. There is also a little bit of a box at the bottom, so agent can ask anything when they get stuck or when they want to know something about the next step or maybe incorrect data that is being displayed. And then Gen AI automatically checks the flow and provides the relevant information in that situation for them. And this is how it ended up. It's a little bit tricky to see the exact numbers, but I can tell you that the average handling time of a particular task using the legacy application was around 3.5 minutes. As you can see, untrained agents came. They started at 7 minutes. After 2 days, they were able to, on average, carry out the task with this application, with this interface in half the time. So we basically just simply by redefining how they use the internal app, they were able to save half of the time in that process. So for us, the key takeaways was to really have context as the king. Any step that the agents are doing is within the context of their particular activity or one action. They don't have to focus on the whole flow. They are being given step-by-step instructions what to do next. Then generated AI, UI, is probably something that we need to think about for other apps and for the future in general. The rigid UI is really tricky because rigid UI will not give you that flexibility of being able to react on the situation. So dynamically generated one with chat support is something we consider to be really important for internal and external apps. And then something I haven't mentioned, but having just engineers didn't work. Having engineers, product managers, process people, agents working together in a team really brought the great results that we needed. Yeah, I think that was the main takeaway for us, which brought us to 70% of interactions resolved, as Stano mentioned, and we are handling most of the text traffic already through the apps. So almost 100%, I think it's 99 something, and then CSAT, which is the customer satisfaction score with the agents, and that doesn't really represent yet the end. So we are hoping to get even to higher levels because we believe there is still more to be done through this. This is a slide about the travel industry trends. So we can have a look. This is more food for thought if you want to meet later and discuss any of those topics, because we already cover personalization, virtual travel assistant, and other AI-powered functions, but there is more in the travel industry that AI can be used for. So we are not stopping there. I represent customer support systems. However, this is where we can expand after we have done our job. So thank you for your attention. I'm ready for questions even now if you have time, or later. And Katka is telling me if you have time.
Clap now. We have a lot of questions. It seems that this talk really resonated with you. Thank you. So, blink twice if you can say this.
I can say anything.
Okay.
How much is support via AI directly contributing to the company's revenue? Okay. Well, I can say anything. We are thinking about this differently. So, increase of the revenue is definitely a function of customers returning. So, how many customers return will influence directly how much more revenue we'll get. We have started 15 months ago, but we have only been in this thick of things for the last 6 months. So we now see, with increased customer satisfaction score, that there will be, and there are customers returning, which multiplies the revenue longer term. Exact numbers about this we don't have yet. It's too early, because when we are talking about returning customers, it's 6 to 12 months period, really. So I would say, it, and I like to say, it does have an impact. But what's more important for us is the increased customer satisfaction score, because that implicates returning customers and the revenue as a result. So I just got out of the question, I think.
You did well. How do you evaluate the production performance of LLMs?
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. So ideally, where we want to be is to evaluate it using AI again. So we would be able to say how AI answered the question for the customer by running it through another LLM and automatically have that test telling us what's the happiness of the customer, maybe through the conversation also. But we are not quite there yet. So what we are doing is we are asking the most experienced agents to identify conversations that LLM identified as not so successful and dig deeper and understand the root cause. So at the moment, it's a combination of LLM-driven evaluation and human-driven evaluation. And that balance will be probably changing over time.
There's like a million other really good questions. So you will have to find Dalibor later, because like all of them are really good. Maybe we'll do like a blog post about it or something. Thanks.
Happy to.
Thank you, Dalibor. Yes. And the last speaker today is someone special. This topic is the most technical of them all, but it's also one of our best speakers. So you won the lottery. It's awesome. By the way, fun fact about Alvaro, he writes books. Like, how cool is that? Like, it's really cool. So the stage is yours. Thank you, Alvaro.
Right, yeah. I was going to go with that fun fact about me is that I like quirky socks and I'm wearing an orange fish in a pond. But yeah, that'll have to do. Yeah, so I'm Alvaro. I'm part of the engineering team at FinTech at Kiwi. What I like most about Kiwi and specifically FinTech is the responsibility that I have because money is on the line. And when things go well, you can tell that multiple years of your salary are going to be paid via a very good release. And when things goes bad, multiple years of your salary are going down the drain because of a bad release. This is the kind of responsibility that I really enjoy. I know many engineers have put off with these, but in my case it's energizing. And yeah, the thing about my work is that everything is failing all the time. It doesn't look like when you bind things on Kiwi. And the reason it doesn't look like is because my team is working very, very hard at preventing that from happening. But the fact of the matter is that everything is falling all the time. And I'm going to be speaking about all the techniques that we use at FinTech to make sure that none of that is shown to the user. I don't know how are into reading computer science papers. Like, have you ever read the DynamoDB paper? Like, raise your hand if you like some of you, yeah, it's a very classic paper. If you've heard of terms like partition, sharding, and all that stuff, so these was the very pioneering kind of computer science research that Amazon did. And Amazon never does things out of the goodness of their heart, if there's such a thing. They do it because they need it. And the reason they need it is that for Amazon, even the slightest outage has a significant financial consequences and also loss of trust. The layman version of this is that every second counts in Amazon. Like every second not selling has a financial impact. And yeah, like reliability is a massive thing for Amazon. And so it is for Kiwi. But what I want to tell you about this is that for Kiwi, work just slightly different. Like I say, this is one of the biggest challenges for FinTech at kiwi.com, making sure that the processes are always on, always ready, so that the moment you click pay on the platform, everything goes according to plan. It means that we are serving global customers and we need to address them at scale with correctness. And yeah, you can imagine that the task is daunting. And many companies speak about reliability in terms of infra. And what I want to talk about to you today is that even though we do the classic infra, Kubernetes, Docker containers and all that stuff, that's fairly pedestrian. The most advanced and most sophisticated stuff that we do at FinTech is code first. It's not infra-based. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about this. Is called code first reliability. It's a term that I came up with. You can share it if you want to. So the thing about code first is that, like I said, it's not infrastructure based. It's all about a different set of techniques that have less to do with infra and more to do with a specific set of techniques, processes, and documents and manuals that we use inside the team. I'm going to be talking about these four. But yeah, this is a summary of what I'm going to be talking about today. So first is that we do production testing, and we're not ashamed about it. The real magic in money has to do with production systems. No matter how much we test on Sandbox, the problem that Sandbox has, more generally, is that it doesn't cover all the edge cases that if you operate at scale and a global company like Kiwi does come to us, that we don't get to the edge cases that unfortunately happen all the time. Like 1% for us happen daily, just to give you some concept of what I'm talking about here. The thing is that my manager who's a very tongue-in-cheek, like kind of says like, it's not as simple as let's merge and see what happens. Kinda is, but it's not really. In reality, we take observability and monitoring very, very seriously. We're always talking not just about the code that we deploy, but also how we're going to check that the code is working according to plan. We're also very heavy into canary deployments, meaning that just a small subset of the traffic is going through the new release, so that we can contain all the damage that a bad release can make. Like I said, yearly salary can go down the drain if you're doing something wrong, so we want to minimize that when it happens. We're also very heavy on future flags, meaning that part of the code is released not in terms of merging code into the code base, but rather to configuring a flag that gets set to on or off, depending on the project and depending on the situation that we're doing. We're also very heavy into easily revert everything when everything goes wrong. Like I say, it's not just canary deployments. Actually, sometimes we have to just pull back and go back to the initial safe state to avoid any further damage. And also to release small changes frequently. I don't know how big you are into the Doro metrics that are now very common in the DevOps industry, but we're all about making small changes as small as possible, as backward compatible as possible, so that we can control when things go wrong, what exactly was the commit that made the damage. Like I said, this is not going to be a heavy presentation like the others, but this is the part where AI is doing the most for us in the team. Not only we have automatic code reviews, we have a way to control that the code is according to plan, not just in terms of a human reading it, but also a machine reading it and highlighting potential flags, potential bugs, potential problems that can arise even before we merge into the main branch. We also automate the root case analysis. If something goes wrong, we can check the logs, we can check the exceptions, and we can ask an AI to tell us what could be one good avenue to explore in terms of what is going wrong and how to detect it. And also we are working in progress, but we are also working hard at making some sort of quality assurance that is automated, that is Gen AI driven. This is probably one of the biggest projects that we're going to have in the team, because it could mean that we're trying to replicate production as much as possible, even though we're not really in production yet. The second topic that I want to talk about is going to do a little bit with this reliability stuff, but I want to highlight the fact that all providers fail. And I'm not going to name names with payment providers, because all of them literally fail all the time. And for that reason, we run a multi-provider payment system that is extremely sensitive to variation in trends. I was on call a few weeks ago, and I was woke up because the SETI, the currency that's national in Ghana, had some sort of recovery, and it highlighted, the whole thing was highlighted in the system, and it was picked up as an alert. The system is so sensitive that we pick up African currencies' high deviations in the trend. So this is the kind of sensitivity that we used to. And the reasoning is that we want to be alerted of something that is not going according to plan as fast as possible. For that reason, the team runs a 24/7 all-call rotation, and not only that, we're also constantly preparing ourselves in case the situations are not as expected, to act swiftly and with consistency. And for that reason, we use obviously dashboard, which is probably the name of the game right now, but we're also very heavy into having playbooks, consistent ways of acting given a certain set of the circumstances that we know in advance that could happen. Our provider may go down, currency may go up bananas, and we're also working hard not just on maintaining that standard, but also increasing it. And for that reason, we're working hard at decreasing that time that it takes from one alert to complete recovery. Like I said, every second counts. If you're serving customers globally, 1 second is one too many. Let's talk a little bit about orchestration. I was mentioning slightly that we run in a multi-provider payment system. The concept essentially means that when one provider is down, we should have some fallback to run into the traffic, so that even though the given provider is down, we can still run business and in a reliable fashion. For that reason, we are working as a team proactively on integrating as many providers as possible. Think Stripe, but also think ADN, think Checkout.com, think Klarna, think everything. We're trying to get as many things as possible so that we can have no dependency or no reliability on a single one, but actually having the ability to orchestrate this traffic on the multiple providers that are out there. The development experience then of integrating these new providers one after another becomes crucial. And it's not just the process of integrating with one, but actually the process of integrating payment methods and providers becomes another thing to optimize for. This actually aligns very well with the fact that there's novel payment methods happening right now. I'm pretty sure that you're not using credit cards as it used to be online. Now we're using things like Bism, we're using Revolut Pay, we're using all sorts of payments that have nothing to do with the plain credit card. And this is one of the reasons that aligns very well with Kiwi, because we're also trying to get the customer to where they are, to the payment method they are very comfortable using and they want to use on the platform. And instead of relying on typing 16 numbers on the on the form, we want this to be as easy as click pay, show a QR code, and do things as normally and as safely as modern payment methods allows us to do. And yeah, like I said, to keep pace, development experience is crucial. We're working not just on adding new payment methods on the platform, but also to make the system easy to add payment methods to. And finally, this concept of fallbacks, which has to do with the fact that when you pay and you are doing everything right, it's up to us to make sure that everything goes through. Obviously, we're checking for fraud, we're checking for things going wrong on the part of other people trying to steal your credentials and trying to pay on Kiwi with those credentials. But the thing is that 90% of the traffic is like legit. So we're trying to make sure that that legit traffic ends up being a legit transaction. That's not as easy as it sounds, because banks reject them sometimes because, seriously, I don't know, COBOL. That's the only explanation that we have. The systems are running in COBOL, and there was a gremlin that decided that day was not going to happen. So the solution was going to, but ends up being trying again with a different provider, rather than keep insisting on things failing or just letting the user know there's something going wrong. The idea is that we want to abstract the user from all these sorts of shenanigans, and to the extent that it's available for us to find a solution without the customer having even the clue that this is happening, we're going to take it. Yeah, like I said, minimize unnecessarily failed payments. That's the goal. So finally, Kiwi.com FinTech is all about reliability, but it's code-first reliability. Production testing means that we're also monitoring what's happening on the platform, so that even the smallest release is picked up, and if everything's gone wrong, we have the ability to pull back in a safely way. We are running on a highly and trend-sensitive multi-provider platform. We also focus on developing an experience so that every new payment method that comes every day, which feels like yesterday we have a new payment method all the time. So we have to have the ability to integrate those as quickly as possible, so that the users and the customers have the possibility to at least use them. And finally, this kind of fallback where we're talking about like the ability to make sure that legit payments go through regardless of what the COBOL banking core and somewhere is saying that you shouldn't because whatever. We're trying to make the most of the payment, the trust of the customer, so that they can make the payment through, even though that some bank is making some quirkiness that is not making this possible. And yeah, that's me. If you want to talk more about payments, I'm talking about endlessly about payments sometimes. But if you want to talk a little bit more about these, I'm happy to contact you. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Alvaro. It seems that people want to talk about payments. Oh, you okay? Okay, she is okay. She's okay. So people want to talk about payments. There's a lot of questions. So what AI tools are you using for automating QA, or is it an internal tool?
It's an internal tool, but at least I can give some flavor of the basics. The idea is that as much as we want to do is to emulate what a customer is going to do on the platform. So it's going to be some version of scraping, model context protocol, some version of that. I can go into the details, but at least at this point it's very, very prototype-based situation. It's not a specific tool that's available on the market.
Are you trying cryptos as a payment method?
Not yet. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Yeah. How does automated code review work in Kiwi? Short.
Like, if you work with code, have you ever tried to like insert all the diff on the Git into the context and say, hey, tell me what I'm doing wrong? That's essentially what it is. It's obviously a little bit more sophisticated than that, but that's what it amounts to.
You're answering very quickly.
I know.
I like it. Are the automated code reviews really using an AI, or is it just CI/CD?
It's both. It's both things. So we have a CI/CD pipeline that works as you would expect, and we also have the ability to include a small step that allows us, hey, check this code, tell me if something goes wrong, even give me a summary so that others reviewers can have more context so that they can review it better.
Perfect. How does Kiwi handle urgent requests from product for new features and ensure the quality and security? This feature is high revenue and needs to go with next release. What then?
I'd say pretty fast.
We also have Stano if you need a backup, but
Yeah, no. I was thinking about a particular Brazilian payment method that had to be included in the platform really, really fast. I think it was some version of 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Like, sounds like a lot of time because everyone releases everything every day. But given the fact that you have to take into consideration things like law, contracts, all the integration shenanigans with including certain information on the payload that the specific provider didn't have any documentation for, I think it was in the order of 3 weeks a month, something like that. So, like, in my estimation, it was pretty fast.
anything to add? No. Stano says no, it's all good. Thank you.
Cool.
So we have more questions, but like no time. So because I don't want to keep you from beer. That would not be smart. So thank you, Alvaro. Please stay here a little bit. I need your help.
That's fine.
And I will answer the last two questions. Do you have entry-level roles in Barcelona? We don't. We have only senior roles. How is Kiwi at DEY initiatives in tech? We do a lot, actually. We like support women in tech. We support Pi ladies.
If who ask that, talk more about that. Pi ladies, women in tech, circles. We have amazing DevRel team of 2 right now. So talk to us more about that.
If you want more information, talk to us. First and foremost, thank you all speakers. Can you clap one more time? Like, yeah. Thank you. We have stickers. We think we are cool because we designed them. So if you like them too, let us know. We have hats, we have stuff, so please take it. We don't want to carry it back to Czech Republic. And as I said, talk to us, enjoy your evening. Hope you will have fun. Thank you.